Giacometti in 1930 made playful, enigmatic, surrealist objects, like his suspended ball, which was productively ambiguous. Are we looking at ingestion? Erotic coupling? Is this a theater? Is it a cage? Where does the sculpture start and stop? We sort of have a pedestal, but a lot of the sculpture is actually suspended from above, something most sculpture had never been, rather than resting on a base below. Giacometti maximizes the viewer's fantasizing capacity of mind. Some of his surrealist objects, like Spoon Woman from 1927, evoked the human form, but also made it ambiguous, using abstract, simplified shapes. So we get these upright, stacked elements that do suggest a body, but clearly not a body in any realistic way. We have swollen oval midsection, some kind of stumpy columnar form that meets some pedestal that maybe evokes legs and feet, but is immobilized and abstracted. Again, it plays with our imagination's capacity to fantasize a body onto simplified forms. Something interesting changes in his work between 1937 and 1939. Here, with very small Figurine, we get a clear human figure. Now, not a spoon woman, not a circle and a banana-shaped wedge, but a legibly human form. But it's very fragile, almost a stick figure. It's made out of bronze, and it stands alone on a large stone block. In fact, the scrawny human figure seems to be in an engulfing space because of the disproportionate relationship between the large pedestal and the twig-like figure that activates the spatial void around the figure so that the space seems to swallow the figure, or almost swallow it. One of the things this produces is a sense of this bronze figure as vulnerable. Bronze had always been associated in figurative sculpture with kind of heroic qualities, the heroic body. This sculpture feels much too fragile, vulnerable, precarious to be easily understood as heroic. So Giacometti makes his very small Figurine at a moment when Hitler's favorite artist, Arno Breker, is reviving classical bronze sculpture to imagine the male body as an invulnerable, armored killing machine. Here, with readiness, he has taken the tradition of the classical male nude and inflated it into a fascist image of an armored body. Muscles bulge cartoonishly. The face sneers in contempt for whatever he's about to kill with his sword, and the metallic sheen remakes human flesh into a polished machine, almost a human tank. From the end of World War II until the end of his life, Giacometti began to push even further this notion of precarious figures. He began to make sculptures in which we have bodies whittled away, scumbled and pocked in a process of reduction. So here, the walking figure seems to bend into a wind, precarious and alone. By making these figures so elongated and emaciated, Giacometti evokes long shadows at day's end, as well as the skeletal survivors of concentration camps and the bodies incinerated in the atomic blasts. Most importantly, the space around them spreads out vast in comparison to their compressed inward bodies. According to the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, these sculptures show us that the human condition is, quote, always halfway between being and nothingness. Sartre wrote an essay on Giacometti's sculpture, And he said of works like this, quote, "At first glance, we seem to be up against the fleshless martyrs of Buchenwald. But a moment later, we have a quite different conception. These fine and slender natures rise up to heaven. We seem to have come across a group of ascensions." The sculptures then leave us, viewers, in a liminal state between a sense of sorrow and a sense of exaltation. And in creating that kind of liminal experience, Giacometti truly expressed what it must have been like to live in Europe after 1945.